studios in South Miami, Florida, it's the This Girl Podcast with your host, Daisy.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my moms. Hi, my listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into This Girl Podcast. I know these days have been days of a lot of feels, and we're all feeling the feels. There's a lot of, fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's really something unprecedented is happening. And since Monday, kind of like as a Monday motivation, I had the really blessing to have my best friend be a virtual teacher in a time when my friend literally 10 years ago said she was going to do this. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it. Like, people are going to really disconnect and go to school virtually. Wow. And I'm such a people person. So it came as a blessing, right? Because she was able to, at least my intention, as you know, in This Girl Podcast, is to educate, inspire, make connections, and spark conversation. So I'm really living to my intention. And that's what I really wanted to do on Monday, was be able to give you a little bit of calm as we enter this new week of virtual classrooms, this new week of online learning. It's not homeschooling, by the way. Homeschooling is a choice. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, because this is a conversation that's going to start. I've actually had amazing moms, hashtag mama boys, hashtag resources, that ever since I created this platform, I always just want to make a connection with moms and be able to create a community to support each other. So how best that I get another phone call this week of an amazing woman who has this business. In fact, she has been on before, Nicole Maria with Miami Handwriting, because it's not just about handwriting. Hi, Nicole. I love that you called me, and welcome on. Welcome to This Girl Podcast again.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. I wish I could be in your new fancy studio, but this will work.
I know, this is so exciting. I feel like we're using Zoom, by the way,
yes,
along with the podcast.
New best friend. I've been on Zoom like 3 times today, so I'm sure you guys, if you're listening or watching, you've been on Zoom also.
This is the normal, right? This is our new reality, and I have to tell you, at first, I it's one of those don't knock it till you.
All right. Well, I don't know if you hear me, but we're having
either the house party or all these new apps. They do help connect us.
Yeah, we've been connected. I was in a room with like 10 administrators, kind of talking about one of the schools we're working on, and it was great. It was what it was, right?
I know, and I think that's what we wanted to talk about today. Our first Monday motivation in the virtual learning was really giving you the basics on creating that space, no interruptions, giving your kids the preview. But I was getting a little bit of feedback from my moms just to see how day 1, day 2 was going. And there was a huge difference. And that's why Nicole came to the rescue. There was a huge difference in moms that had like the pre-K to about first grade, which Suzette had alluded a little bit that was going to need clearly more hands-on. But then I also got feedback from the middle school to the ones that are getting back from the university. And those people were almost living the dream. Like, they were like, I'm so happy. They're self-motivators. They obviously have more maturity. So that was a little bit more smooth sailing. So Nicole came, to me, and I was like, Nicole, I think we need to support our moms on how to approach this. And she had such a beautiful point of view and perspective that it's not just the academic. And I can't wait till she joins the conversation. So we wanted to talk to the moms today and break it up a little bit by age group on the conversation, because it seems the experience is quite different.
Yeah, definitely. So today we're going to jump in and start talking about the little ones. And then, the next couple of times Daisy and I will get together to do this. We'll, give some perspective on the other groups. But today we're going to be starting off with the little ones, the preschoolers, kinders, maybe even up to first grade. And I did want to add on something that Daisy said. you know, we have all had all the feelings where, you know, this is a movie we're in, right? And I just kind of had to like sit quiet for a few days and figure out how am I going to show up here, right? Because everything's different, right? So having the opportunity to share on the podcast, having social media, having Zoom. I just had my first Zoom like client today. So I'm definitely showing up in a way that I feel, my perspective is coming from, I feel, you know, with all amongst the chaos and all the bad things that are going on now, we have to find the good thing. And the good thing right now is that we are going to get a chance to rewrite the story. The kids that are stuck with a sad face and having to sit out of recess because they didn't have time to finish their work, we're going to have to edit this part.
Oh, no, I love that you're being real and authentic. This moves you to the core. There's a lot of people feeling this, Nicole. Thank you for
I
showing
feel
up.
like I just get a perspective of the kids in the classroom that are stuck in there, right? So the little kid that can't keep his body still for more than 6 minutes, right? Because he just can't, whatever the reasons are. He's the one sitting in silent lunch. The kid that can't read, so he doesn't understand the assignment, so it takes him twice as long as the rest of the kids. Well, he's sitting out of recess doing the work. So we're getting a chance to rewrite the story for them, right? For us, like all of us that are in the school system, we are kind of like struggling with how can we fix it? Well, guess what? The system has just been thrown out the window, and we're getting an opportunity to rewrite the system, right? To rewrite how those kids that are struggling, they're not going to be felt like they're the kids in timeout. They're not the kids that are missing out on the recess. They're not the kids that are on silent lunch. Even for the older kids, the ones that always forget to turn in their assignment because their executive skills haven't shown up where they need to be, and nobody's even figured out how to help them. So we now are able to start fresh and kind of reset with the kids. So that's kind of where I'm going to be coming from for all of this. And I think that's the place that I'm going to be able to help and serve. So with the little ones, what I don't want is I want the parents, moms and dads, to feel like empowered. Like, how am I going to spend the day with this little one, right? How am I going to, you know, do the things that I feel that I need to do and enjoy it, right? Because one of the things that has come out of this is that now we're able to enjoy, you know, things that we never thought we would enjoy because we are all stuck at home with our family. So one of the things that Daisy and I talked about was kind of giving you guys a perspective as to what the little ones need, and hopefully giving you guys something that you can take and implement that's easy and with things you already have in the house to kind of help you with that age range of the little ones.
Well, let me jump in a second for those that haven't had the opportunity to listen to Nicole Santamaria's podcast with me. She's an occupational therapist that has worked with children for over 20 years. Exactly. I wanted to verify you. Not that I have to, because you're an amazing mom and you have basically dedicated your career to helping kids, not only with like their motor skills, her fine motor skills, which she's keen on that. And that's why she developed her business is called Miami Handwriting. So if you wanted to look her up, it's www.miamihandwriting.com, or that is also her handle in her Instagram. She has amazing programs. She's working on workshops. We'll talk about that later. But I love her catchphrase is always, it's not just handwriting, because although she is, and her background and experience is based on fine motor skills as well as the cognitive skills, the visual learning, all of that, her approach to children, it goes beyond. It's that whole holistic approach. That's why when we're talking about this new environment, she's like, I know parents are really keen on the academic portion and making sure they hand in that work. And, you know, she's like, let's give our parents permission that it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit, you know, flexible, or let's make it flexible was her invitation to you all.
Exactly.
So when we discussed that earlier on today, I just wanted to give you kind of her pedigree and her curriculum, because I have a pro on the other side of this conversation. And I love that she came to me and said, Daisy, I want to be able to equip our moms with just either some confidence and some empowerment that we're all doing the best we can. So we wanted to start off with the young ones because I think that's where our hands are full for the moms that still have a little one and a big one or multiple kids at home. So the setups are different. Your patience towards the system is going to be different. So if you could enlighten us a little bit on your recommendations, what we do with the instruction of creating this virtual learning from maybe that pre-K to first grade.
Perfect. So the first thing with this age range is that they are still very much developmentally learning through play. So this is something that we are going to be able to encourage them to do because they're in a different setting, right? So try and keep that in mind, right? So playing a board game, building a puzzle with them, having them in the kitchen with you, cooking, having real conversations where they're making eye contact with you. All of these things, I just don't want families to discount the importance of them because they get so many benefits from them that not only helps them with academics, but it helps them be ready to learn whatever lesson is going to come at them virtually now, right? Before I used to say whatever's going to happen in the classroom, but now our classroom has changed. So don't discount all those things that we need to do within our regular household, that now we can include them with us. So sometimes, especially when you're dealing with this age range, it's almost easier just to like bring them along with you for whatever's going on for the day than to just kind of try and keep them busy and cross your fingers that they're going to get out of your hair. Especially the pre-K and the kinders, they're going to be you the whole time. So that's my first advice. Keep that in mind. At this age, they still very much learn through play, and it's still very much okay for them to play. But yes, it's like everybody, I've seen like the preschools have gotten like packets sent home for the kids to do. I know between this week and next week, the virtual learning is really going to kick into place. And again, I said I didn't want the parents to feel frustrated, feeling like that they weren't doing the things that they needed to do. So I wanted to share, at least 3 ideas that we can use that would really help get them a little bit more engaged and help keep their attention on whatever it is that they're having to do. Keeping in mind that they're little and they still need to have that playtime, and bringing them with you into your real life activities helps them learn just as much as any of the academics that they're going to be getting.
That was really helpful, I think, for the moms. And so they also need, I think, or let's not take it for granted, is routine. Like they need to wake up, or how do you feel about that age group?
Oh yeah, so I am all about the routine for all of the age groups. Right now the parents, we're trying to like keep ourselves calm so we can keep passing out the peanuts to everybody as this is unfolding. So the routine is very big. I have little kids in my house, but I kind of laid out with my husband. I had a meeting, and our rules were: you have to get out of bed, you got to get dressed, you got to wash your face, brush your teeth. You had to do your, get exercise, eat well, basic things. Those are things. Our kids are in college and middle school, so it's a little bit different. We don't have that hands-on, but we still had some kind of a routine happening. Like as soon as I'm done here, we're going to go for a walk. We're trying to get our exercise for the day. So, but for this age, they're going to be looking at you for the schedule. So I've seen some schedules, and we talked a little bit about this, where everything is like scheduled to the T. I don't think those schedules are really going to work that well. For some people, some parents don't want that. I need to follow the schedule, and that's going to ground them. But those of you that need to be a little more free-spirited, I would pick 3 things that you want to accomplish for the day with the kiddos. Once you get past the basic, what we call in OT world ADLs, getting dressed, brushing your teeth, having breakfast, picking up, maybe 3 things that you want to accomplish with them, and that's it. If you want it to be a playtime, if you want them to, whatever their lessons are for the day coming from the virtual school. But I don't know that we need to follow a whole strict day of schedule. So in the beginning, you want to have a routine, and at the end of the day, daytime and nighttime. and then pick 3 things that you want to get done with them. Because I think it's a lot of pressure for parents to feel like, oh, we have to do all the things and make these wonderful Pinterest arts and crafts and have these beautiful handwriting lessons, when right now we're in the beginning of it and we're all kind of just trying to get a handle of it.
I also want to give a shout out to our teachers and ask, our parents and our kids, I think even sending an email, letting them know they're doing a great job would mean the world to them, either from your kids. Even make a drawing at that age and you could like put it up and show it to them if you're doing that virtual learning, or you take a picture and you send it to your teacher, because this is all new to them too. So what I'm asking from our moms is to basically have more grace and more compassion at this time with yourself. It has to start with yourself. I know us moms, we want to do it right. Excuse me, we want to do it perfect. And right now, change is what's the norm, right? So every day is going to change. Every day we're experiencing new things. But it's opportunities. I really want you all to see this as an opportunity. Your child, as Nicole got emotional when she started, this is actually maybe a blessing for many kids, that they get to learn at their pace. And this virtual learning gives them more flexibility than sitting in a classroom for that 45 minutes. Or this is also a blessing that they get these breaks where they get to move their body, go outside, and maybe possibly do it with you. There's more family time that before we were, this is a theme that I've read, I've seen, and the families are, a lot of us, and especially moms, I definitely identify with this saying, is we're always in the doing. I'm always doing, getting ready them for school, doing something for myself, doing something for my husband, and I don't have a state of being. And I think this pause that the world is giving us is to be a little bit more. So to be a little bit kinder, be a little bit more compassionate, and approach this with more grace. I think we're in a period of influx. We're in a period to learn. But at the same time, and you'll see the difference when we start talking about middle school and high school, because the expectation for them is to show up just like a classroom. So,
remember, none of the kids have done this before. Just like our teachers are worried that they have never done this before, and we're worried. We're like, how are we going to work and be on conference calls and have kids running in and out? And our little kids have never done this before. Even our older middle school, high school kids, they have never been independently free in this virtual world. It's new for all of us. So there is no perfect. Like, perfect is just getting thrown out the window right now because there's no model here.
Progress over perfection. Our sister Marie Forleo taught me that, and I embrace that and talk about
going through the trenches here, figuring out as it goes. But I did want to give you guys, when you do have those movement breaks, like in school for the little ones, they have the Go Noodle, right? Some schools, they actually have recess every day. So now at home, we're going to have to create those activities for them. So what I really wanted to take for occupational therapy and take like the sensory perspective and share some things with you guys that you can implement at home. And these are just going to be like down and dirty techniques that you guys can use. So the first thing, ready to talk about that now?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first thing is we want to get our children, I put a post out yesterday on Instagram, and the things that families were struggling with most was attention. So I'm gathering attention to be self-regulation, able to sit down, able to get their attention to start something, to finish something. And, as an OT, I'm looking at it as like, they're able to like get dressed and out, and out to breakfast on time. They're able to clean up their room. And yes, are they able to log into the computer and do the thing that they have to do on the computer? So one of the best ways to get them, and using that sensory perspective, is movement, right? So we always go through exercise, right? Moving your body is a great way to get all of your sensory systems alert so that you can kind of come back to learn. And I think that may be common, but here's what I find happens a lot of times when we use these movement strategies is we forget that with a lot of kids, once we move them and get them all hyper and ready to learn and excited, they stay in this excited state. So coming back down to the dining room table, because it's not the classroom anymore, it's the dining room table, where they can learn, they can't. So deep, heavy breathing is a quick way to calm them down. So we're gonna do this one together. This is like easy. And actually I was on a workshop the other day and I heard a psychologist talking about it and I've heard teachers talking about it. So, you know, the whole sensory tools that we use, they really, I like how they're going from one profession to the other. At the end of the day, right now we need to get them into the hands of the parents because the parents are the ones who are going to need them. So once you get them moving and excited, you'll hear, oh, have them do jumping jacks, have them go run laps back and forth, and then have them come back. The secret that a lot of people forget to tell you is when they come back, they might be super hyper and excited, but they can't calm down to learn. So the heavy breathing is gonna help them. So we do the 5-finger breathing, which is super easy. So you kind of inhale, do it with me, Daisy. I can see you. Do it with me.
Okay.
Put your hand up. Okay, so you're gonna breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So every time you take the other hand and you trace your finger, for those of you that are listening to us, and then as you get to the top of the finger, you exhale. And then you inhale as you go up, and then you exhale as you come down, and then you
It's
inhale.
like the Johnny, Johnny, whoops. Johnny, 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 whoops. Johnny, whoops. Johnny, whoops. Johnny, 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 whoops. You never did the Johnny whoops?
No.
I don't know. I guess I knew that one.
You want to do the breathing because that deep,
gotta go slower.
breath and the deep, long exhale is what stimulates your brain to just like chill and get into the zone to kind of, you know, get back into whatever they were doing. You know, I would say classroom, but we're not going to say. We're going to say dining room table instead. So I think that is a great way, a great tool for parents to have. And you might need to do it. You're going to have to see how long these are little people. How long these little people can sit. Some little people can sit up to, some first graders can sit up to 12 minutes and, you know, listen to somebody talk. Some can't. And now they're at home and they're excited. We don't know how it's going to go. But I just want you guys to have these tools so that if you need them, you have them. And as you're Pinteresting and Googling for activities to calm my child down, you're going to see the running, the jumping jacks, all the bouncing things, but don't forget the heavy, deep breathing. I think that's the go-to here.
Right, because I mean, we're not going to get into it, but
No.
or unless somebody wants to call you, but that's like to generate that whole vestibular in the processing in your brain.
Yeah.
And I know you know all of that, and we're not going to overwhelm our moms with that.
No, not today.
But I know that if they really wanted to understand why you do that, you are the go-to and you are the person they want to call.
Definitely.
But I love that you're giving them tools that, I mean, they have the big 5. They've got their hands, and it's a really cute motion that anyone from the ages of 3 to 7 could do this, or 3 to 6.
And to 47 can
You're right. I need to. This reminds me of the mindfulness practice, because a lot of that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it overlaps into, you know, I feel like a lot of the principles overlap. And I always say I like to use the sensory preferences as tool for everybody to use. Not, you know, I'm not talking sensory processing, just order. I'm not talking sensory processing. I'm talking about, these are sensory preferences that we all have, and we can all use them to kind of help ourselves and our kids kind of go up and down and kind of get to that just right level, which is what we're looking for, right? So we talked about exercise.
So we do the deep breathing.
We talked about the deep breathing. Along with the deep breathing also comes anything oral, right? So a straw. A lot of times we give kids water bottles that they can chew on. And then in the classroom, they're like, stop chewing in the water bottle. But I'm like, well, they kind of need the water bottle because that water bottle, that chewing is keeping them organized. So guess what, y'all? Now at home, they can chew on water bottles. They can chew on gum. They can do all these things that they need to keep themselves.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Organized. Yep.
Because I have a straw chewer in my family. I didn't realize that him doing that is helping him process.
So your oral and motor.
In particular, that loves that.
Yep. So your oral is a part of your tactile system, and it's a great way to organize, and it gives you that proprioception, and you get these receptors in your, like if I go to a workshop, I'll bring like a whole pack of like gum, and I'll just like chew it the whole time to keep me kind of engaged and regulated. So I think those three things, and as always, getting hot and sweaty, running, exercising is a great way to keep all things sensory working so that our kids can, emotionally feel better, academically they can participate a little bit better, and just keep themselves healthy. But just, I guess if there's anything to take away from here is just that, don't feel like you have to do all the things. I think a lot of the kids will feel better checking into the classroom. They like to see, okay, my teacher's here, my friends are here. So I think it's real important for them to see that everybody's in this together. But I just don't want the parents feeling like we have to do all these things and they have to be done perfectly and we don't have any tools to deal with this, because there are tools. We just are giving them to you little by little as we get through this this new way of virtual.
Right, and that age group, I also another mom gave me the wisdom of saying, I'm like, how's it going after day 2? And she has 2 children and they're at different ages, but they're still in the elementary. And she's like, we start off strong in the morning, just to keep the rhythm. We do something, but as you say, after 12 minutes, the boy needs to move, the girl gets distracted. So she's honoring let's focus for a good 12, take a break, another 12, take a break, go outside, run around, and then come back, not to try to do like if they're in school, literally from like 9 to 2, and we're going to try to cram it all in between that. She's giving herself some time till 4 maybe, since there's really not an after school activity, or she's really letting them dictate, okay, we're going to take a break now. We're going to come back, and give the kids a little bit of ownership, saying, okay, I'm ready to come back, which I think is nice.
Right. But remember, the kids have never had all of this new stuff. So we don't know if the kids are going to be able to want to come back, right? We can't count on them and wait for them to want to come back.
It's the trial and error, and it's different for different people.
I think in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of that previewing. This is what the day is going to look like, and we'll have chunks and pieces of what to do. A lot of kids, we talked a little bit about the schedule, having more like a visual schedule or like a tactile schedule that they can like I'm obsessed with Post-its. So if I had kids of that age, we would have Post-its. We would have, whatever, story time. We would have quiet story time. And every time you did one, we would take them and either throw them away or take them and put them in the kitchen so we can start again tomorrow. But having a visual schedule, maybe in the morning, previewing what the next hour is going to look like, and another one at the end of the day is really helpful for this age group, because then it gives them boundaries for being successful with going to the next thing by themselves. So yes, we do want them to go back and forth by themselves, but I feel like we have to kind of put things in place so that they're going to be successful with that. So if we do play, outside time, like let them know we're going to be outside when the bell rings, then that means, this.
You're absolutely right. I'm going to reiterate that because I think the connection.
The kids, they don't know. This happens with the little ones, and this even happens with the big ones, and it's even worse because they're big, and we think, oh, they know how to do that. They're going to be fine.
No.
Nobody knows how to do anything of this.
Right. But you're right. I'll tell you, the kindergarten teacher, which I adore, once told me, when you go to your first parent-teacher conference, and I'm like, is that good in class? Like, what is it? And I'll never forget what she told me. She goes, they know the rules inside this classroom. Yes. So I do agree. Since this is uncharted territory, is write down the routine for that age group and for all of them, and write down the rules. And if they know them, they won't break them. And that's what she told me. And I think it's time for you to set the rules and the boundaries and be flexible. And again, I'll go back to have compassion with yourself. Yeah. And, with this new system, because what, at the long run, I really think it's going to work for everyone. And again, it's different for everyone. So don't compare with your friend, your mom, because that child is different than yours.
And your temperament is different than your friend's temperament, right? Like might be okay with the kids being outside for 3 hours in the mud and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that they're playing outside and they're in the dirt. And another mom might feel like I'm out of control, and they're going to be like, they're going to live, they're not going to know anything if they stay outside for too long. So, your temperament and your child's temperament, but, having those activities in your back pocket so you can pull them out when you want. I think the schedule at the beginning of the day and the schedule at the end of the day is really more realistic for at least for this week, right? Because we're all being thrown into this. You know, I think trying to follow a whole schedule for a whole day for me would be really hard, but maybe for you, it would make your life easier. You know, everybody's going to have to know, just, you know, be graceful with yourself and keep in mind that we're all struggling. And with this age group, if all you did with them that day is play old maid and shoots and ladders, you're good. You're good. Because they really learn so much of those executive skills that I have to work on with the older kids. They learn so much of the visual perceptual skills with the game. So many of the things that they need to learn, they learn through board games and through life skills that we do in our households. And guess what? Now they're in our house, so now they can practice all these things with us. So.
Nicole, thank you so much. In fact, Nicole was working on, before all of this kind of went into, you know, full gear, because as she's always trying to educate and be a resource for all the moms and the education system, she's really big on training, and she trains teachers, but she loves training parents. She feels that you're at the forefront, you're with them every day. And the jump to kindergarten is always a big one. And I've always, in fact, told my girlfriends that are teachers, like, I wish you had a kindergarten boot camp, because kindergarten is kind of when they start to learn to read.
But let me ask you, Daisy, in that kindergarten boot camp, what did you expect you were going to get? Or what did you think you wanted or think you needed? I know your boys are older now, so.
No, but I still think there's a huge
right, no, but I'm just saying, the kindergarten boot camp, what do you usually expect it to be?
I was expecting the basics. So it was getting them ready to know what it was to, like, sit down and to listen. It was getting them ready to really be more like the school environment, because I always felt like from pre-K 3 to pre-K 4, it was so much play that in kindergarten it did get a little bit, I don't know if we want to call it more serious, but more traditional school.
It gets very serious.
And I'll tell you, I'm a frustrated kindergarten teacher. Maybe that's why, like, I love kindergarten, because I think you see that big jump in wanting to learn. I think that's a time where if you plant the seed right, the kids can learn, versus all of a sudden getting all these crazy sight words, wanting them to read and let them not even know, whoa, we're going from playing and having stations and being a doctor and, you know, playing with blocks to wanting to sit down, interact, and write a story. You know, even it was like, draw a picture of me and what do you want to be when you grow up? What? So the boot camp was a little bit to a lot more storytelling, a lot more, meaning audio reading. Nowadays, there's a lot of audio reading, which, by the way, I would tell moms at this age group, I wish I would have my boys, to be quite honest, is read. Take this beautiful time to do a lot more reading. But that's what I envisioned a little bit, was the basic setup. It was kind of like the preview of what was expected in kindergarten. So I don't know if your workshop even tackles this, but that is an area where I think the expectation from kindergarten to first is a big leap for the kids these days. I mean, I went to school starting in kindergarten. So I feel like the kindergarten now is almost like the pre-K 4. So in some schools, and maybe not in all, but so I'm trying to honor kindergarten more, because I do think it is like the first kind of real school experience.
Yeah. So definitely kindergarten is the real school experience. And you know, some kids adapt really well to how kindergarten is today, and some kids are just like, whoa, what is happening? Because the jump from a lot of preschools to the kindergartens of today are so far apart, that what I want to stay away from, what I always say is like, I always stay away from, let's get the kids ready. Like if they're 4, we have to get them ready for kindergarten. I'm always like, no, they are 4. They need to be the best version of a 4-year-old and do the things over and over and over. So when they get to the kindergarten, then they're ready to do the kindergarten thing. But I don't want to skip any of the beauty of the 3, 4s, and 5-year-olds at the price of getting them ready for the kindergarten, or bump up the kindergartens because they have to get ready for first grade. I'm like, no, we need to be the best kindergartners we can be, So when we get to first grade, they're like, all right, we got this. We're ready to do this thing. So, yeah, I had set up the kindergarten workshop before our whole world changed, and it was going to be, things to get ready for kindergarten. And it was going to be more along the lines of fine motor skills, gross motor skills, and the visual motor skills. So then I was like, okay, now what? Everything's different. They're not going to this regular crazy kindergarten class. They're going to be home, right? We don't know what's happening next year, but right now that the kids are home now, they're not going to be. So I just kind of had to sit with it a little bit. And I said, you know what? These are still things that the parents could learn, because the workshop was for parents, right? So we are going ahead with the workshop. The workshop is going to be for preschoolers and for those in kindergarten, because the kindergarteners are still developing all their motor skills, contrary to what they do in the classroom. They're still developing all the motor skills. So the workshop is going to be broken down into 3 parts, and we're going to dive deep into fine motor skills. Basically, how can we get the hands ready, keep the hands being the best they can be, and then the other one is going to be how can we get their bodies ready, so that they can, originally it was going to be walk into the classroom and be ready to learn. Now it's going to be learning for today, right? We don't know what's going to happen.
Let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful.
Right, but we don't know what's going to be happening in the next few months. They might be going back into a classroom, but right now we're home, right? So we got to still.
Right, they still need that though.
They still need it. So for now, until the next 2 weeks, whatever it's going to be. And then the third one is the visual motor skills, which I always talk about. Like, this is when the eyes and the hands go on a play date and make the magic happen. So those are going to be for the preschoolers and for those in kindergarten, and even the parents that have little ones in first grade, they can still benefit from all these, because now the beauty is we have so much time in our hands that we can set these up, and everything will be with things that you already have at home. It'll just make
Is this workshop virtually, or is it, the intention was it to be in person?
No, originally it was going to be virtually anyways. It was going to be virtually.
That was timely.
So there we go.
Well, thank you. For those that, all of a sudden you're hearing her and you're like, oh my God, I need that. I really want to learn that. I'm going to reiterate that Nicole Santamaria, you could find her on www.miamihandwriting.com. I mean, it's genius the way you were able to get that, because it's just so pinpointed on what you do and how you help. And her Instagram is fabulous. She's always doing tips. She's really good at also about doing webinars and videos. She's very active in her social media, always giving tips and suggestions to help our children, to help the parents. She's an advocate on having kids feel good about themselves and giving them the tools that they need. So thank you so much, Nicole, for being here. I love that you shouted out. And this was just one of a series that we want to do. That's why we wanted to tackle the younger ones and offer some wisdom, calmness, and optimism to the moms,
A little bit of calmness along the way, but.
But we do want to tackle middle school and high school later this week, as a lot of the other schools kick off tomorrow. So maybe on Friday, we'll do a fun Friday and recap, and get some lessons learned from some moms ourselves.
As the days go on, and next week we'll have a little bit more feedback. And, if you're hearing this, just, reach out to Daisy, or you can just send me a message on Instagram and just be like, hey, I'm stuck with this. What can we do? Because I'm really, trying to figure out what you guys really, really need to get through this.
Right. How best we can serve you. As we said, is why I do what I do, is to make connections, to better serve our moms. We're all in this together. We're all going to be better at the end of this. So thank you so much. I hope you found this useful. Thank you so much, Nicole. I can't wait to have you on again and do our little dance party, because she is my dancing girl too. We video sync. So maybe you might even grab a dance class out of this later.
We have to have a virtual dance class.
I told Andrea to think about it, because I think it'd be fun, and I'm starting to see gyms do it. So stay tuned, girlfriend. I might see you on Zoom dancing on the side.
Oh, gosh.
But
all right, everybody. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you so much. Hang in there. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Keep on, tune in, and send us comments. We're here to help, and we want to know what you need. Okay? Hang in there.